boy Bleeves.
This is not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I'm always right.
Everybody listen up.
If you don't use NordVPN, you could get hacked, and that would suck.
Bada bing, ching, ching, big profit. Even when the market sideways.
Don't forget to sign up for MEXC. The link's in the description down below. That helps me out tremendously.
This is not financial advice.
OKX is offering incentives for you to sign up. Make sure that you sign up today in the description down below.
I'm always right. I'm always right. I'm always right.
Go to atlashealthline.com for all of your Delta 8 gummy needs and for all your Delta 8 inhalation needs, I want to say. I don't know. Something like that. It's in the description below.
It's been a long day. I mean, a long week. Maybe a long year. So let's get something clear. We're going to stock up on some party favors.
Guys, if you're outside of America, or if you're lucky enough to be using NordVPN, you could be signed up to BitGet for all of your futures trading needs. The link is in the description down below. Hey guys, if you're trading in America, you can use up-down trading through crypto.com. It's in the description down below. Sign up today and start trading.
Carpet riders on some third eye shit. Mr. Pine Cones come a long, long way. So everybody gets sideways. Sing it. I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting sideways. Pass the bottle back my way. Everybody's getting sideways.
What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleeves. This is Breakfast with Bleeves. And guess what? U.S. CPI data comes out. Let's get into it right away. Comes in at 4.9 versus estimates of 5.0. And in fact, we were told that that was going to slow down. Well, guess what? Did the exact opposite. CPI falls to 4.9 in April. Bitcoin is now above 28,000. Now, if you follow me over here, you'll see that Bitcoin is now at 28.3, forming what can only be described as, I've seen bigger, God candle. 21 billion has entered the market. Everything seems to be reversing. However, you know what's not reversing? Pepe. Pepe just got listed on Genesis. Gemini. God damn it, I said Genesis. Oh, Barry Silver, go fuck yourself. Gemini in the last few hours, and the price action has gone on to do what can only be described as So, yeah, what the fuck is going on with Gemini and Pepe? Because that price action does not look like what anybody expected to see. So, yeah, crazy. But here's what did happen. If you're asking yourself, what about Bob? Then I'm going to tell you what about Bob. If you followed my advice and you did what I said when I said do it, and if you need me to replay it and we'll put it back down here, I said it's 6,000 right here, right down here. I said go in, and this is where you're going to accumulate if you're looking to accumulate. If you want to accumulate Bob, then it's 6,000. That's going to be the number to accumulate at. Remember, we had this conversation. Well, guess what? Now you're at 7,000 and you're up about 15% on your investment in just like that. Because guess what? What about Bob, right? What about Bob? Well, Bob seems to be taking off, but not to be confused. By the way, you know, where I come from, we used to eat deer, right? Now, for some reason, we're investing in deer. And look at what Bambi is doing right now. Bambi was up at one point over about 3,500. And got to stop 1 second here. Metapolitans, I know you promoted this project. You're absolutely right. I did, but that doesn't mean Bitcoin didn't hit 30,000. So when it hits 37,000, remember, I'm going to remind you of that one too. So we're 22.25 on Bambi, which is still up 180% in the last hour, down just a little bit. But in the last 6 hours, up 25%. Now, what about BenBoyBit? BenBoyBit is up 32% in the last 24 hours, 5% in the last 1 hour, 26%. The reversal is in. Ben is probably headed to about a $500 million market cap right now. So, oh God, I love Selmo. Hey, look, I love Selmo, by the way, just so you guys know. 1590. So we're having a nice little run. Having a nice little run on Ben Boy Crypto Bit. I don't know. I mean, call it what the fuck you want. But it does look like, it does feel like we've got a nice big reversal happening. And remember, these things do have kind of a life of their own. If we want to get an example of where Bob can go or Ben can go, probably look at Bob. And Bob was at, right now it's at 49 million. But if you come over here, then you look at it, it was about 4 times higher. So about 160 million, I want to say. If you want to go look at Jeff is now down to 4.5 million. But Jeff had that run and that ran up. I mean, what is that? That's about 7x from where it is. So Jeff's dead. Jeff, rest in peace, bro. You had a good run, but it looks like it's over. Elon, I think, is effectively dead here. So if you're still holding on to Musk, I think it got a little musky, and that's the end of that. Poo, if you're taking one, is starting to move back up. We're seeing a little bit of a pump off of the poo. So I don't know whether it has any legs or not. I don't know that we're going to get any kind of rub, but you got to remember, Pooh is also another Disney character along with Bambi over here. So it is possible that that you see another run from Pooh, or you take a Pooh. I don't know. I mean, something could happen. Lambo, by the way, starting to run. Remember, it's only $6 million market cap. This right here, 28.39, seems like, feels like, looks like Lambo should have a nice little run, right? $2 million in volume, total market cap about 6 million. So at this point, you're not going to see it. Mong, on the other hand, has a reversal in 9 million in volume, but an 87 million market cap. That's not how you're not going to move with this. The Mong needs way more volume in order to make that kind of move. Everything is a little bit underwater right now, but the markets are starting to correct. Nature is healing cryptocurrency. So, you'll see, or we'll see exactly what happens over the next little while. It's going to be a long day, and maybe, just maybe, we start to see something good. Floki, by the way, up, having a nice big candle move. Conflux CFX having another big move. Arbitrum having another big move. Luna Classic still kind of moving along. A lot of profit taking along the way. I don't even understand how people are taking profits at this point on Luna Classic, unless it's just the people that bought the dip. Like that's the only people that are getting the price that low, I would think. Gala up 5% on the morning, and Volt up 15%. That's got to suck for people who hate Volt. So anyway, US CPI at 4.9. Let's move on. We've got Pepe going on Gemini. Let's move on. US CPI 4.9. Send it, Pepe. Pepe hugging his dick here. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. Could be a green candle. Who knows? Also, Volt Inu has now adopted Wednesday Inu, which is kind of a derivative of the Adams Family Wednesday, and that's integrated, and you can use it to pay through VoltiCard, and you should be able to see probably Volt tokens will be traded. It will be usable very, very soon because there's no tax anymore and there's no transfer penalty anymore. So you're probably going to see that. And for those of you that are saying, I can't believe that Volt is now going to do a V3. Oh my God. Why is it going to do a V3? Because I hate when you change a 2 to a 3. God damn it. If you're saying shit like that, then the last time Volt went from V1 to V2, it did a 14x. So what the fuck? Are you allergic to money? Is that what's happening right now? Are you like, oh my God, I don't want to make money? That would be silly. Come on. Like, are we really at this point here where we're going to start bitching about, hey, the last time it did 14x? I don't want that again. That's too much money for me. I would prefer to not profit. What the fuck is that? That's gonna ruin my record because everything I invest in, I invest at the top. Come on, guys. Right after this, Volt went to like 250 million market cap. it had a nice little blah, blah. And look, if it does a 4x and it gets back to 250 million market cap, or it does a 5x, whatever, 4 or 5x, whatever the fuck it is. If it does that, then your bag is way bigger than when it started, and you don't have to pay taxes if you want to leave and take your money and get the fuck out. So what is going on? Because Sway didn't rug BTFA. Sway moved it over to somebody else. I'm not a simpleton. I understand what exactly he did and what exactly happened, and that the people that took over decided not to continue doing it. So I understand the difference between rugging something and just leaving it behind and leaving it for other people. So if you knew that Sway didn't rug BTFA, why would you continue to say that he did? Honk. So now that does come back on me right now, because turns out he was a piece of shit and was an asshole. And by the way, if anybody does report him to the FBI or the police, send them to me, because I do have his address and I will let you know exactly where he is. And I know where his wife works. I know everything you need to know. So if you decide that you're going to file a police report because you think that you've been wronged by Sway, then send the cops my way. I'll give them everything they need to know, because he did it to me too. So, yeah. All right, so let's move on. Okay. Cool story, bro. All right, so Shibarium L2 cold wallets confirmed by devs. Is there anybody else, by the way, who's here to cry and bitch and moan? Don't like that. Like, I think the crybaby hour starts at like 8:30. Like, Jesus Christ. Exactly. Every single one of them. Every single one. Of course, Bitcoin still hit 30,000. So, all right. So, Shibarium L2 cold wallets confirmed by devs. And that means that Shib and Bone should be running. Are they running at this point? Right now, no. What we're seeing at this point is a not move by Bone or Shib, just a little bit of a minor correction. Do you see what I'm saying here? Shib, not really a pump. Bone, not really a pump. Everything else, really a pump. Like, it's something has got to give with Shib and Bone at some point. Got to get that. I mean, basically, you got to get that VC money back in. I think at this point, we recognize that it's that venture capital type money coming back into the market that everything and everybody is desperate for. So hopefully at some point, we're going to see something positive start to come out. There you go. So Shibarium cold wallet confirmed by devs. Pre-markets, everything is pumping right now. So we should see something positive happening in the next little while. Are we in altcoin season? We're not in altcoin season. Crypto market still only has 32 million in volume. So this is not going to be like we've not seen what we really need to see out of the market so far. We really need to see some 24-hour volume in the neighborhood of 50 to $100 billion before we can really confirm that any sort of true rally is getting started. Now, seeing what we just saw, which is a capital inflow of about 15 billion, is a decent start on that. But unless we get a lot more into it, then this is not going to sustain itself for very long. Now, couple of you, who the French call, I think it's a French word, dingleberries. A couple dingleberries here have said, "Why are you going to a different one? Why are you going to a different one?" That never works. Well, the number one trending token on Lunar Crush right now is Bitcoin SV. What is Bitcoin SV, you might ask? Well, Bitcoin SV is the original Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin that we know of today branched off a long time ago and created, wait for it, a new version. And if you're melting down right now, like, no, whatever, insert your cryptocurrency here, that's not Bitcoin. Yeah, we know. But your thought process is stupid, is what we think, because every once in a while, something changes. And when that thing changes, then you might have to adapt to whatever the environment brings you, right? So the original Bitcoin now called SV, is beating out most of the other popular assets and has started trading at a high level. The original Bitcoin network, which only does 50,000 transactions per second, which is that's crazy, because the current one does 600,000, and Polygon does 5 million. So Bitcoin SV, a broken system. The original Bitcoin, not the current Bitcoin, is it's still out there. It's still one of the old versions. And if you thought, hey, anything that rebrands can't work, you don't know shit. So let's move on. But the most talked about crypto right now is Bitcoin SV. Moving on. Bitcoin funding rate on BitMEX turns deep red, and here's why this is bullish. As pointed out by Crypto Quant, Bitcoin felt a bullish boost the last time this pattern was observed. The funding rate is an indicator that measures the number of periodic fees that futures traders on a derivative exchange are currently exchanging between each other. When the value of this metric is positive, it means holders of long contracts are currently paying a premium to the short holders in order to keep their positions. On the other hand, negative values of the indicator suggest shorts are overwhelming the longs at the moment. Naturally, this kind of trend is a sign of a bearish mentality. In the context of the current situation, the relevant derivative exchange is BitMEX. Here's a chart that shows the trend on the Bitcoin funding rate of this platform over the last year and a half. As shown in the graph above, the Bitcoin funding rate on the BitMEX exchange has taken a plummet towards deep negative values recently. This means that a large number of shorts contracts are piling up on the platform in comparison to long contracts. So what you're seeing is this massive amount of shorts sitting out here. And I keep telling you guys that right past 30,000 is a massive amount of shorts that are just like, all you have to do is push into this 30,000, 31,000 range. And guess what? You suddenly see a whole bunch of people get liquidated, and you suddenly see a 32, a 33, a $35,000 Bitcoin, or could I say 37,300? Yeah, I can, because that's the next level that we're going to. So generally, when the futures market becomes too unbalanced towards any side, a sharp price move in the opposite direction to what investors are heavily betting on becomes more probable. This is called a squeeze, and this is a mass liquidation event, and we are about to see it. Now, not only that, but let's move on to Elon Musk is sharing massive incentive to move money out of banks. And unusual whales, the Treasury and the Fed, may have come in and actually restrict your rights as a U.S. citizen to pull money out of the U.S. banking sector due to capital flight from the U.S. banking system, Hugh Hendry said on Bloomberg. And then Elon Musk says they've created a massive gap between money market account interest rates at 4.5 and the bank account interest at less than 1. That's a massive incentive to move money out of bank accounts. And remember, that's really what we've seen, by the way, all around the world right now. Banks store your money, and banks make 4.5% or so off of it, but they only give you less than 1%. And they say they need that for operating expenses. They also need $2.50 every time they do a bank. Every time you get cash, they also need $2.50 from the other bank if you're not at your bank, if you need to get cash. So now you're going to pay $5 to take out $30. They also need you to pay fees for your checking account. They also need you to pay these fees. Look, it's a fucking scam, right? And guess what? People are starting to not fall for it. And Rank will be the biggest launch of the year, I would think. And it's coming soon. So anyway, Elon Musk is telling you get your money out of banks too. So all of these kind of things are starting to pile up. And where does the money go? Well, it's going to go into investment in some way. And what is the best hedge right now, whether you like it or not? It is Bitcoin. So here we are. Now, moving on. Grayscale has filed for an Ethereum futures and a Bitcoin composite ETF. Now, remember, this has been shut down by the SEC multiple times already without anybody giving a reason, because the SEC to this point has not been forced to give a reason. But on Friday of this week, it will have time will have elapsed. A court order was put into place, giving 1 week for the SEC to clarify what it is that they're looking for, because they're trying to say, well, they even took the language out. If you remember, just a couple days ago, we talked about this. They took the language that said that try to differentiate how they consider digital assets. They took the stuff out of it. They're not interested in any kind of clarity. They're interested in muddying the waters, right? Well, now they've been forced to, because they were sued by Coinbase, which is amazing. Now, Grayscale is also worried that the SEC may ban it from using Coinbase. So, because Coinbase has filed a lawsuit against the SEC. So, is the SEC vindictive and spiteful? And are they lowbrow, dirtbag pieces of shit? I don't know. But what I do know is they probably don't think that a V2 can work or a V3 can work or anything like that. That you can't branch anything off, because if you did, then Bitcoin would fail completely, right? Or Ethereum would fail because you wouldn't have ETH Classic. I mean, that would be silly. Like, branching off and creating a new version of anything is never going to work, right? Come on, Maxis. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Is it ETH Classic? Wasn't there another one? Oh, yeah, there's ETH Old. That branched off last year, right? And it has, what is it, 800 million market cap? Yeah, it couldn't happen. Couldn't happen. Wouldn't work. Huh. Because I wanted to. And I didn't dump on the community. So if you need to, ask your mom about that. Fuck my life. Bitcoin gearing up for a parabolic rip, says Crypto Trader. Here's his target. Matter of fact, Eddie, instead of running your mouth, go to my wallet. I'm not hiding anything, brah. You can follow the trail, brah. You will know, brah, exactly what happened so that I don't have to tell you, brah. Act like you know what you're talking about and get on Etherscan. The answers are right there in front of you, brah. Without me having to say brah either. You know what I mean? So, Bitcoin gearing up for a parabolic rip, says Crypto Trader. Here's his target. A closely followed analyst believes that Bitcoin's recent price doldrums are setting the stage for a crypto king to go on a parabolic surge. In a new video, Credible tells his 340,000 crypto followers that Bitcoin is likely in the phase of creating for a parabolic rip. According to Credible, Bitcoin could correct to as low as 25,000 and still be in a position to ignite the next stage of its parabolic rally. And where does this guy say it's going? 54,000. 54,000. Well, so Richard, I appreciate that, but the reason that people want to know what I make, or they want to know what tokens I get, is because they're nosy and they can't handle their own business, so they have to meddle in other people's business. And that's okay. I mean, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm a marketer. My job is to market a product. Now, sometimes that product is a shitty project. You know what I mean? Like, it just is. It's just run by somebody who's unprofessional. But guess what? We're in cryptocurrency, and let's state this for the record, because the ding-dongs and the dum-dums just don't fucking get it anymore, because they're ding-dongs and dum-dums, and they have no idea. Back in the old days, if you wanted to start a business, the only thing that you could do is start a mom-and-pop mortar sort of business or something like that. And then the internet came. And if you don't know what the internet is, it's where digital assets can have an opportunity to thrive. Now, in digital assets, you don't need a brick and mortar thing. What you need is an idea and a principle and a design for what it is that you want to do. And previously, you didn't have cryptocurrency in order to fund your idea. So what you had to do is say, hey, I have an idea, and would you give me money for this? And then a venture capitalist, a rich person, this is what these dingbats don't understand. The rich people are the ones that have to fund your business for you. And then what happens? They take a piece of your business. If you ever watch Silicon Valley, even though it's a mildly funny show and kind of entertaining at some point, it's actually very real and exactly what happens. A venture capital company comes in, buys a piece of your business to give you the funding so that you can continue to operate while you build out your product, and they take a piece, and then they put themselves on the board, and then they decide what you're going to do further. Well, then that doesn't work for some people. So then they started what's called GoFundMe. Dingbats, you still listening? They started GoFundMe. And why was that? Because they wanted to have an ability to start funding projects and hopefully reap some kind of benefit or some kind of reward for it. So GoFundMe became that. And then when that didn't work to the best design, then the people who can't get venture capital funding or don't want to give up the rights to their design went to cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency is the way that we as a community can fund each other and invest in each other and the ideas that each other have. Now, are all of the ideas good? No, because somebody once made rainbow flavored dildos that they put on their heads like unicorns and stuff like that. And I just assume that people who complain about cryptocurrency or about, dude, you got rug pulls everywhere, that you wear those, that you're the only people that are buying them. Do you know what I mean? I can't even for the life of me imagine how short-sighted and dumb a person is that they would think that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general, or that people starting these up don't look. There are people who start things as rug pulls, but also the same dingbats who are in here crying like, why would me EFA? Well, for those of you that don't know, Sway, even though fuck this guy, Sway gave up on BTFA because Fabrice Sapolsky, and if you don't know who Fabrice Sapolsky is, go look it up, dingbat, because that guy was a Marvel Comics artist. He was an artist for Marvel Comics, responsible for Spidey Noir. Spidey Noir was a story about Spider-Man in an Elseworld sort of environment where he's just a little bit different than the Peter Parker that you know. And guess what happened? Fabrice Sapolsky got death threats. Dingbat dick swallowers from BTFA started threatening Sway and his family's life. Like, I know where you fucking live. You better make this thing moon. You better make this thing pump. Okay. That's the kind of low class turds that you're dealing with. So when you have a bunch of people in here crying about, way something else rugged. Well, here's the thing. There are risks associated. There are risks involved. I don't like them. So you track my wallet, you find out I got 8 ETH worth. I got 50 million tokens, 8 ETH worth. And what did I do? I didn't sell them. I sold them yesterday morning after everything had collapsed and after we had found out that Sway had ripped everybody off and robbed everybody. Then I found every piece of information that I need so that in case one of you guys want to sue and want to get after him, I'll tell you his name. I'll tell you where he lives. I'll tell you where his wife works. I will tell you everything you need to know to make sure that you can send the police or the FBI to him as you may need. But at the end of this, I'm a marketer. And if your response is, well, if you're a marketer, shouldn't you be the one that does it? No, because I didn't fucking lose anything. I'm not out anything. If you are, and you think that you were scammed, then call the FBI. Call the police. But for fuck's sake, stop crying like a little bitch, because nobody wants to hear that. Or if I want to hear it, and I do want to hear it, by the way, because then I get to go on rants like this and have a little fun with it. But at the end of the day, here's what matters. You're a fucking grown-up. Act like a fucking grown-up. You're a grown-ass man. Use your grown man penis and act like one. Sometimes projects don't work out, but GoFundMe is no longer around. Or it is, but it's not the same design. Now, if you have an idea, if you have a business, if you have something that you think you can capitalize, you are not subject to going to these corporate overlords, these venture capitalists. You're not subject to having to go out here and borrow money from people who then control you and run you around. You have the opportunity to create a thriving business potentially if you're good at it. Now, if you suck at it and you get people to invest anyway and you just suck at it, then you just suck at it. And the people are going to lose their money. But guess what? They're losing their money in the stock market too, because those are what penny stocks are based upon. So while you sit here and cry about cryptocurrency, look, we're all laughing, right? And you're going to say, well, it's not funny. There's nothing funny about losing money. Yeah, it is. When you make a fucked up decision, yes, it is. Now, I made a fucked up decision. I trusted Sway. I put my faith into a guy who had a bad project that he did run away from, and he did get death threats about. And a Marvel artist that was associated with it got death threats and left the project too. A Marvel artist, right? And still, that's the reason that I had sympathy for Sway. And I met with him a couple times and had lunch with him a couple times. Like I know Sway. So I did not think that any of this shit was going to happen. I didn't think that this was going to happen, right? I thought we have a project. By the way, it's ridiculous to even do it, but here we are. We have a functioning game sitting over here that you can log into and play, right? That's insane. The fact that they took the time to make a game, blah, 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 to do all of these different things, to create a working something in order to get what amounted to not a lot of money. Like, it really not a lot of money. I don't know that they put, but by the way, if you need any clarification on that, I think Hobbs actually said it best yesterday, because he said, it might not be that much to make all of this stuff. CERTIC audits $5,000-$10,000. It's very possible that he could have spent $20,000 to rob people of $100,000. Like, it's very possible that happened. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's possible that he did that. So why did I do that? Because that's the shit I do. Sometimes I'm here to market something to you, and you are responsible for doing your own research. Now, if you bought because you saw an ad, you're a fucking idiot. And in some context, you're going to not be rewarded, because just because you bought the pill that told you that you're going to lose 100 pounds and you didn't lose 100 pounds because your fat ass can't stop eating, then duh, because the pill doesn't work, right? But it's on TV still. Well, that's my job, right? I'm here to tell you this is what I see on a project. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's indifferent. But guess what? That's on you. You make your risk. You decide what's best for you. And remember, if you make a bad decision, you're the man in the situation. If you make a bad decision and you're the woman in the situation, you're making a responsible grown-up decision. Make your responsible grown-up decision. If I'm just a piece of that puzzle, I'm a piece of that puzzle. If I'm not a piece of that puzzle, then no problem. But that should only be a piece of the puzzle, right? And I appreciate everybody who comes in here. And by the way, tip if you want to keep going. Now, let's move on. And guys, I don't mean to get off on rants like that, but when dingbats come in here and act like dingbats, they got to be treated like dingbats, right? We got to have a rule or something like that. I usually just let it go and kind of banter back and forth. But I mean, Jesus Christ, if you're that fucking dumb that you pretend shit happens, fuck you. So anyway, we're going to 54,000, and you know what? Even this guy is telling you credible because he's credible. And then Bitcoin miners are not selling. Now, this is contrary to what we just talked about yesterday, because yesterday we were told that Bitcoin miners were selling at an alarming clip. Well, guess what? On-chain data, transaction fees on the Bitcoin network have shot up recently because of the increased traffic of the ordinals. The network is congested. However, waiting times in the meme pool can stretch longer. There have been some extraordinary congestion on the blockchain, so we've got that in place. From the chart, it's visible that only 2017 bull run top saw the total transaction fees on the blockchain sitting at values higher. The first half of the 2021 bull run top saw similar lower levels to the current spike. Naturally, the miners are enjoying the burst of activity being seen on the network right now, as transaction fees are up to one of the main two revenue streams. In such a period of booming business, there have been concerns about whether miners would sell some of their reserves to realize these high revenues. But so far, the transaction volume from the miners going towards centralized exchanges has remained low. Now, here's the thing. What we saw yesterday was that we saw that there was a large amount of selling, but guess what? That was from dollar amount. When you look at the percentages, it turns out that it maintains itself as a pretty low number. So it's not really what's happening. It's not really, sometimes, again, just like yesterday, we saw the number was accurate, but it's a little deceptive. It's just a little bit deceptive. See what I'm saying? And Selmo says, but the devs are to blame on that rug. And as far as I'm concerned, those who got paid for any involvement are just as guilty. Right. Because you shouldn't be paid for work, right? And here's the thing. That's the important thing that I think, and someone I'll probably disagree on this forever, right? Should I not be paid for what I do? Fuck that. You know what I mean? Like the reason was because I met with Sway in person. I talked to Sway in person. So yeah, I was good with it, and I got hosed by that prick. So. And, I got to take the L and I got to move on from that. So, and if it's difficult for you to move on because you overinvested or something like that, I feel bad. But I can't do more than feel bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, the shit ain't free. Is basically, and by the way, that's one of my brother's songs. So it's always stuck in my head. So let's go back here. Bob, by the way, again, like guys, if you followed me on Bob and I told you that there was a bounce point, right? And if you hit that bounce point, that it was going to move. And guess what? Bob moved. So now you look like you look like a giant in the world. But coming over here, look at this shit right here. Like this is going absolutely out of its mind right now. BAM is still continuing to send up to 25.23 and still moving. And by the way, BitBoy said that he thinks that BAM has a gigantic future. Now, of course, he did come out with a little hyperbole, and he said that he thinks that BEN is going to be a top 50, maybe even top 20 token, that you've been warned. So you're getting in here right now at about a 59 million market cap, 59 billion market cap. And what I tell you, I told you yesterday, if you're in a buy zone, here's what you do. Wait for it to come down to 1,093 because that seems to be the bounce area somewhere there about 1081. God damn it. I was close. And then what happened from there? You got sent. So where are you right now? If you bought at that spot and you got sent right now, you're at 24% profit. If you cashed out near the top, then you're at, Jesus Christ, I really hate when this thing is not 50%. So you would have been up 50% on your investment in a very short period of time, right? So this thing is primed. You can see it right here. It's consolidating at this $50-60 million level. It's probably going to have a nice little takeoff and a nice little run. Volt also, taxes are off right now. People are buying in. Volt dropped to zero. It's at 1,008 right now, up 17% on the day, 8% on the 6 hour. For the week, only 1%, so it's catching back up to where it was before, but we're starting to see the FOMO build. Let me remind you, when we went from V1 to V2, it went 14x. Now, can we go 14x again? I don't think that the answer to that is an absolute yes, because we were at a 20 million market cap at that point, so going up 14x was a little bit easier because that's about a 300 million market cap. The mathematics on that are pretty simple. Right now, it looks like, could we go to 300 million? And I think the answer to that is an unequivocal yes, right? But the question is, can we get to a billion market cap like Pepe did? Or can we get to a billion market cap, a 2 billion market cap like Pepe did? On the strength of, first of all, Volt is a very memeable thing if people use it. But can Volt and its ecosystem support the faith that people have? I don't think that there's any reason not to think that it could happen. It's a matter of getting it out into the market. And I can't tell you, by the way, how many times I've seen people say, well, if it wasn't for the taxes, I would be invested in Volt. Like I've legitimately, and I'm not even bullshitting at this point, I've legitimately seen that a bunch of times. Like I've seen that happen over and over again. And I've always thought, like, it's okay, right? Because this was, the taxes were to build the infrastructure. The taxes were to create the foundation that was laid out to build VoltiChange, to build VoltiFlex, to build VoltiEco, to create partnerships with everybody, to do all of the things that had been done before. Like this was a great idea, great concept, but it was limiting in terms of how high it could go. Well, that limit has just been removed. Now, one of the things that we're not considering that we should probably consider about Volt is that we also had in the phase 5 was 3 top 10 centralized exchanges. And now we did get listed on Huobi and from Poloniex, by the way. But guess what? We didn't really see any of the 3 centralized exchanges yet, although we did see the whitelist requests that had nothing to do previously with the other one. So I got a feeling that not only are we going to get a migration to a V3, but then we are rapidly going to get a few announcements of some more exchanges. And then all of a sudden, this thing will take off. So I think that we're in, I think that we're about to see something really fantastic for the Volt army. Now, again, I'm not in support of zero tax. I'm not in support of zero tax because the bots, yes, the bots create a lot of volume and stuff like that. But look, this is the way you should look at this, right? This person who was buying 2.6 just saw a price action, of, what is this one right here? 2.6 right here. This person saw a price action of around 23.11 and thought, what a great time for me to buy. I'm going to buy at 23.11. By the time they got in with this 12 ETH bot, they paid 27.03. Okay. This person paid 27.03 to get into a project that they thought they could get into at 23.11, and now they're fucking wrecked, right? Because what if BAM doesn't go to 27? They just spent $6,000 to get into something and invest in something that they are now screwed on. So I am adamantly opposed to the zero tax. But if it's the will of the community, it's the will of the community. So I mean, at the end of the day, I guess I don't give a shit. But you know, I mean, if that's what we're doing, then we're doing it together. And because I'm going to defend you guys no matter what. I, as the most vaulted person, look, we should at least be honest here. I am the most vaulted person in all of crypto, and I wish people would stop calling me Pablo. I'm just kidding. But listen, Pablo, Power, Ozzy, they are tight, right? They stick together. I've been there just as long as they have. I'm just kind of an outlier because I have my own thing that I do. So I do what Voltoshi, like I have conversations with Voltoshi. We talk about strategies, what to do, what I think, you know, we have conversations, right? So my lane is different. My lane is different. So, but those are my guys. They always will be. But I'm just as Voltas as everybody else when it comes down to it. I read Volt content. I stare at Volt stuff. I'm always in the middle of something Volted somewhere, somehow, some way. I keep coming up with funky ass shit. Where did I hear that before? Every single day, because the DIOG something or other. God damn it. I don't even know what the song is, but that's crazy. Something like that. Anyway, let's do a rapid fire run down here. Bam, trading at 26.26, having a big run here. Looks like that guy at 27 might actually get out with a little bit of scratch from it. Wall Street Bets Classic is having a reversal, still positive here. Hopefully it bounces off here as support and continues to move to the upside, but its upside is limited unless somebody comes in and we start to see a whole lot more 24-hour volume start to pop. But we could see that this might be the start of it right now. Ben trading at 1370. Ben is now finding that there is some resistance here to getting back to the top. So we're looking right now at what would appear to be right here around 1650 as a top on Ben. So, and Ben, if you're listening, I'm not calling you a top. So yeah. So as we're trading right now with Ben, you can see here, this move right here, this is the downside right now. So if you get in at 10 or 1100, somewhere like right in this little area, then it looks like it's playing out to about 1650. Hopefully that means it's going to consolidate in this area before it springs up to another big level. And to be fair, like that could be at any time. This is a consolidation move. Now that this has happened, I would think that we're probably going to see a push back down to about 1,000, and then we're going to see a move back up to 16. So that's about 60%. That's about a 60% variance right now on this little level right now. And you can see here that in the hours, it's bouncing back and forth. So when you get down here again, one more time, this might be too many times, by the way, now that people are recognizing the pattern here, this might be too many times. But if you see it come back down here to this level, that's the time to buy. That is legitimately the time to buy. Volt trading at 10.08 right now. You're starting to see a lot of buys come in. You're starting to see a lot of enthusiasm reversing, and that's a great thing. Dino, still the talk of the town, by the way, but 754,000 in volume with a 27 million market cap. This thing is going to die on the vine. This is not going to go very well. This is not going to work at all. So I don't think that Dino has any life in it right now. So if you're invested in that, try to get your best to get out with a pump, but I don't see anything to it. Decanect at 4.5 cents now, moving up the charts again. We're starting to see more people coming back in. And guys, I'm telling you right now, when you see Decascan, you're either going to shit yourself or you're going to shit some of these Jeets that are like, wah, all the time. You know what I mean? Because Decanect has got some shit going on in the background that really just fascinates me, and it's actually incredible. And you're going to see it soon enough. But it's intriguing and interesting. Cult up 7% on the day at 41.54, moving along with the market, moving along with ETH, not doing anything special yet. But Volt or Cult still has the opportunity to do that. WAGMI also moving with the market up to 33.95. This is just an ETH bounce at this point. Shib is at 9.55, moving with the market. Bone not even moving with the market. What in the absolute fuck is that? MMAI not moving with the market. Optimus AI 1706 not exactly moving with the market yet either. It's just kind of, we got a little bit of a move here, but not enough to really say. So, and again, sometimes what you need is that cascade of flow down. These memes that are out here, they need something to them, right? Kato 1198, NGN 1748. Pepe, here's Pepe right here. The trading volume is 18 million, market cap is 8 million. And I told you guys yesterday, right, that we would maybe invalidate everything if we had like a nice little run, if we did something right. On the hour chart, we got up to 21, and I said at 21, I would take my profits and then move it, wait for it to come back down in this 1800 level, right? Well, I didn't do that because what happened? We got that Genesis listing. So I said, you know what? I'll let it ride and I'll see what happens. Well, now we're worse than when we started. And the reason that we're worse than when we started is because the American paper hands are out here saying, oh, bro, I gotta sell. I need an ETH for whatever they need an ETH for. But you can see right here, I mean, like there's obviously way more sell pressure than there is buy pressure on. So Gemini, by the way, as an exchange, you apparently suck. Nobody cares about Genesis anymore. Robinhood, maybe. Coinbase, maybe. Will we see a reversal from that? I don't know. It really is starting to look to me, and I'm just guessing, but I'm not saying, but it's really starting to look to me like Pepe is just has no more legs. I would want to be, and I would like to be proven wrong. I would like to see, first of all, we need 2,400 before we do that. And I can't do that from this fucking chart over here. We got to do this from over here. Pepe has broken out, which is a good sign, but it's got to run. It just hit this number and then it bounced back out and got rejected. So there's still a lot of sell pressure. And there's not nearly enough buy pressure coming in on Pepe, which means now that buy pressure could end at any moment. Maybe they sell out and then the move comes back up. But what you're doing right now is all of the traders who are trading these margins, right, these levels, all of these people right now are just continuing to do what they're doing. So they're buying low and they're selling the top, and we don't have additional buy-ins coming in order to break through this top. So that means that we have a cap on the number of holders, generally speaking. So if we come over here and we look at the number of holders is 108,000. Remember, a couple days ago, it was 108,000. So there's been no new holders in 4 days. It actually went down 2,000 and came back up. So there's no progress being made on Pepe right now. Now, it could be that progress gets made real soon, and we start to see something happen. But here, as you can see right now, massive capitulation happening right now. Good buy opportunity, but probably not until low 18s or something like that. And then it'll pump back up and maybe get rejected again at 2060 because it's just not pumping. And it doesn't matter what Poly, it doesn't matter what anybody says on, it's just not doing it right now. But it did break out of this channel. Hopefully we'll use this as support right here on this line and then bounce back up and then start to test this level and break through this next level. And then we'll see something happen. But I really at this point feel like it's going to take Coinbase or Robinhood. It's going to take a big listing. Gemini apparently is not going to do it. Now, moving back over, Turbo, which one of the big Pepe whales moved into Turbo. We saw a little reversal in the last hour, but it's getting eaten up. The U.S. market is pretty weak and fickle, so we probably won't see a whole lot coming from the U.S. market right now. Maybe we'll see some capital inflow, but I wouldn't bet on it because it's the American market, and the American market is at least not historically, but at least reasonably right now very weak-handed. So, and you can see right here, like it's almost obvious at this point that right here where it just rejected, right here, here, this is obviously a point of contention. So this is going to have to be flipped to support in order to go any higher. Musk seems to me kind of dead. 147,000 600, like I think, you know, got a little pump right here. It's not going to sustain. I don't think there's enough interest right now. Now, if we got a bunch of capital inflow and we got, you know, 1 million or 2 million, and then the market cap 670,000, then that's bullish, and that might mean that we might be seeing some kind of move. But as of this point, I think Musk is dead in the water. Mong, we keep hearing a lot about Mong. I don't keep hearing about it, by the way, but a lot of other people, a lot of other people keep talking about it. Well, I mean, all I've seen is it's coming down, right? And this pump right here, that's not even 20%, while Bob is up a little bit higher than that. So I'm not really sure. I think Mong is just like everything else, dead. It's got too much market cap. It's at 87 million market cap, but only 8 million in trading volume. Like that's it. That's it. It's done. BRL down a little bit more today. Don't know what's going on with BRL. Hopefully something. But I mean, it's a 492 million market cap, 247,000 in total liquidity. But I mean, we really haven't seen any sign of life right here. And to be fair, like it's 10 and 12 taxes. Like you know, at this point, I don't think that that's going to do anything and move the market. So Sponge is 40 million, 36 million. So it had a little bit of move, but I don't know that that's going to sustain. It looks like it wants to, but maybe not. Wojak looks dead to me. Poo had a little spike, it looked like I saw earlier, but it's not sustained. We'll see if it does anything. It's bouncing off of the area. Again, the area that I told you, this is where if you want to accumulate, this is where you're going to accumulate. If you did, you're up 12.5%, 15% maybe right now. It's worth taking profit on because I don't know that it's going to stay up there. See what happens. Bob still at 68.31 off of that 6,000 bump. So if you're in here right now, I would take profit right now and wait for it to come back down here because it doesn't look like it's pumping super hard. Now that would be a guess. That would be a risk right now. But I do think that it should pump into the 9,000s before it really rejects and come back down. But I don't know at this point. Like the market is wonky because of what happened today with the CPI. So we have to see the CPI play out. Now the next thing is Bobo. Bobo looks to me to be just like everything else. Like we're basically looking at the same chart over and over and over again, right? Pepe is already live for deposit on Gemini. Wall Street baby got 0 pump off of this. So I would think that's effectively dead. Jeff actually has some pump here. 5.6 million on 5.19 million. I got a feeling Jeff is having a nice little turnaround. In fact, this 34.19, this is a big pump on Jeff. So maybe a reversal is in the card. Maybe all that shit talking that Ben has been doing about Jeff, maybe that's going to play out to its best advantage. So, but anyway, that's my time, guys. This is not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I am always right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you have so many different things that you could do with your day. I appreciate that you take the time to hear me come onto this place and rant about cryptocurrency. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I'm always right, and I will see you again soon.
Whoa, another shot of the bullet. Loaded, got complex, cocking and pulling. That bottleneck look like the Loch Ness. What are we doing? I'm about to fall out, boy, in the proofs and the pudding. So, can we forget about the things I said when I was drunk? I ain't mean to call you that.